A very good evening to you, dear viewers. It's exactly 6 p.m. Cairo local time. It's time for this English news bulletin coming to you out of Channel 2. This is Reem Tamer, and we begin right away with the headlines. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi meets with Prime Minister Madbouli and Finance Minister. Arab Islamic nations denounce Netanyahu remarks on the so-called Greater Israel. Russia launched 85 drones, 1 missile on Ukraine at night. Welcome back. The news in full. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met on Saturday with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Finance Ahmed Kujuk. And this is during the meeting. The President has reviewed the preliminary indicators of fiscal performance for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, which showed outstanding positive and balanced results. The highest ever primary surplus was achieved, amounting to approximately 629 billion Egyptian pounds, representing an 80% increase compared to the 2023-2024 fiscal year. The meeting also addressed the key outcomes of fiscal performance for 2024-2025, which included the notable increase in tax revenues, achieving the highest growth rate in recent years at 35%. During the meeting, the President stressed the need to continue intensive efforts to strengthen fiscal discipline and government procedures that enhances Egypt's economic performance and supports development efforts. The foreign ministers of 31 Arab and Islamic countries and secretaries general of the League of Arab States, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Gulf Cooperation Council issued a joint statement. In the joint statement, the region ministers and organizations strongly condemned the statements of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over what he called Greater Israel. They said that those statements represented a grave disregard of and a blatant violation of the rules of international law and the foundations of stable international relations. They also constitute a direct threat to Arab national security, to the sovereignty of states, and to regional and international peace and security. They condemned the approval by the extremist Israeli minister Bezalel Smotrich of the settlement plan, along with his radical racist statements rejecting the establishment of Palestine. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati and Algerian counterpart Ahmed Attaf stressed their strict position of rejecting Israeli decision to expand aggression on Gaza. The two foreign ministers pointed that this escalating step aims at solidifying a legitimate occupation of Palestinian territories and the continuation of systematic genocide against the unarmed Palestinian people. This came in a phone call held between the two ministers in the framework of regular discussions and continuous consultations between two sisterly countries. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati highlighted the importance of strengthening investment and trade partnership between Egypt and Singapore in light of Egypt's ongoing developmental boom, pointing out that Singapore is the 5th largest foreign investor in the Egyptian market. Abdelati also hailed the deep historic bilateral relations, noting the growing momentum these relations are witnessing, particularly in light of high-level visits and meetings. He pointed out to the upcoming visit of Singapore's president to Egypt, which coincides with the 60th anniversary of establishment of the diplomatic relations between both countries. The foreign minister's remarks came during a phone call on Saturday with Singapore's counterpart Viviane Balakrishnan as part of ongoing coordination and consultation between the two countries. The minister further underlined the importance of advancing towards a genuine political horizon that would achieve a just and comprehensive settlement of the Palestinian question, ensuring the restoration of the Palestinian people's right to self-determination and the establishment of the independent state with Jerusalem as its capital. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati held a phone call with German counterpart Johann Vadeful over consultations on regional developments in Gaza Strip. During the phone call, both top diplomats stressed the rejection of starvation policy of the Palestinian people. Abdel-Ati also affirmed Egypt's rejection to Israeli directives to expand its military operations in Gaza and settlements in the occupied West Bank in its endeavors to strengthen control over the Palestinian territories. He also reiterated that these policies hinder the chances of de-escalation and achieving peace. For his part, the German foreign minister welcomed Egypt's continuous efforts to reach ceasefire and allow humanitarian aid into Gaza Strip. Moreover, Abdel-Ati reaffirmed the importance of peaceful settlement for the nuclear file and working on de-escalation in the region and avoiding military options. Israeli occupation forces continue their aggression on sporadic areas in Gaza Strip. 16 Palestinians were killed, including children, by Israeli fire in different areas in Gaza. The authorities' decision to freeze the bank accounts of Orthodox Patriarchy in Jerusalem and imposing high tax on their assets, aiming to disrupt their capabilities to carry out its duties in different fields. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry stressed that this decision comes as part of Israeli targeting of Palestinian holy sites in general and Christian holy sites and Christian institutions and affiliated assets in Palestine as part of occupation's open war to liquidate the fair Palestinian question and legitimate rights. Libya goes to the polls on Saturday for rare municipal elections seen as a test of democracy. Key eastern cities including Benghazi, Tobruk and Sirte have rejected the vote, highlighting the deep rifts between rival administrations. The United Nations mission in Libya, UNSMIL, called the elections essential to uphold democratic governance, while warning that recent attacks on electoral officers and ongoing insecurity could undermine the process. Nearly 380,000 Libyans, mostly from western municipalities, are eligible to vote. European leaders on Saturday expressed support for a three-way summit between the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russia's Vladimir Putin and U.S. leader Donald Trump after a U.S.-Russia summit failed to produce a ceasefire. A statement signed by French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen insisted on maintaining pressure on Russia until peace was achieved, including through sanctions. The European leaders also insisted Moscow cannot have a veto on Ukraine joining the European Union or NATO. Russia has made clear it will not tolerate Kiev's membership of the Defense Alliance, but the leaders said they were ready to work towards a trilateral summit with European support. The U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin failed at a high-stakes summit to reach an accord on halting Russia's military operation of Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said he will now go to Washington on Monday, while key European presidents and prime ministers held protracted talks on Saturday after Trump briefed them on the summit. Trump had a lengthy call with Zelensky on the flight back to Washington, according to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Trump called the meeting extremely productive, with many points agreed, but did not offer any specifics. Ukraine's Air Force said on Saturday that Russia launched 85 attack drones as the attack drones and a ballistic missile at Ukraine overnight. Kiev said its air defenses shot down 61 of the drones. Moscow also claimed advances in the east of the country, continuing its on-the-ground attacks and advances during the talks. Russia's defense ministry said the troops captured the village of Kolodyazy in the eastern Donetsk region. It also claimed to have taken the village of Voron in the neighboring Dnipropetrovsk region. Moving to the world of business and finance, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources Karim Badawi met with Chairman and CEO of the UAE-based International Holding Resources IRH to discuss potential cooperation in sustainable finance and mining. According to a ministry statement, both sides agreed to establish a clear timeline for implementing joint initiatives in the two sectors. The minister affirmed that the cooperation represents a new model of strategic partnership combining sustainable financing with modern technology to maximize the use of mineral resources in a way that serves the interests of both the state and the investors. By that, we reach the end of this English News Bulletin, and now it's time to thank you for watching. This is Reem Tamer. Thanks you for watching.